That kind of sucks. Ladies and gentlemen, good morning. Welcome to another episode of Cybersecurity Amplified and Intensified with your Friday dose of piss and vinegar. And today, boy, do we have some piss and vinegar brought to us by Reddit. What's going on, Eric?
Oh, man. It's going to be a very long couple of more days, I'm sure, maybe even a week. So those who don't know, we'll put it down in the show notes, but more than likely, anybody who listens to this by now will know about this whole Reddit post where Allstate is pretty much slamming Datto, RMM, Ninja, and Kaseya products to be removed from any Allstate infrastructure with it effectively going into September 27th, which is
Monday.
Yeah, Monday.
That's not bad. 3 business days and two weekend days to give notice to Exfiltrate. Okay.
It's almost like it's a 0 day that,
needs to be patched / uninstalled.
Yeah, like the shit the CISA kind of does. So yeah, this is really weird because, we've been having a lot of internal discussions like, okay, what is the driving force behind this shit?
I think it's money. I think Allstate internal IT wants to sell services to their franchisees because let's not forget, Allstate, the insurer, and the Allstate offices around the corner from you is a franchisor franchisee type of model.
Yep. And I mean, Allstate's not the other one. State Farm's the same.
It's all the same shit.
Yeah, I don't think there's really any of them that are different than that. But hey, if you know, leave a comment below. Let us know, just so we're educated. But anyway, yeah. So it's just the simple fact that they did not name SolarWinds in this shit, and they didn't name ConnectWise in this shit, makes me think it's some sort of internal grab. It's some sort of, policy, or there's some sort of inside deal going on here, because Datto, RMM, and Ninja have not had any public disclosures of CVE's major exploits like Kaseya, like ConnectWise had, like damn sure SolarWinds has had. So why they're going after these versus the ones that have actually been in the spotlight, I don't freaking know. But this,
I think the first question to ask is, what is Allstate internal IT using? Some seem to think it's some homegrown, lacking DevSecOps product. Or could it be ConnectWise? Could it be SolarWinds? Could it be one of the other RMMs that have not been named? But I want to hone in on the 3 bullet points here. Allowing support vendors to view an agency computer without the agency user's knowledge, which could expose PII and PHI. Go HIPAA. Someone's using you as an excuse to get rid of someone. Good for you. But here's the thing. With the Datto RMM policy, you can literally check a box and a technician will not be able to hop into your computer unless you explicitly grant it each and every time. Furthermore, once that box has been checked, there is no way to undo it remotely. It has to be undone by the user on the device.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm going to chalk that one up as a hot steaming pile of shit.
And the only reason we know that's because we use Datto. So this is why we're a little bit of pissing.
And we know what we do sometimes.
That, that actually brings up a good point, because you and I both had ConnectWise, even back when it was at LabTech.
Oh, yes.
And I don't remember there being a screenshot option on there. Maybe there was, but I don't remember.
There was not. In Screen Connect, you could configure it, and it was a few layers deep in needing approval to join a session. Mm-hmm. It was not as easy as with Datto, and secondly, with ConnectWise, you had full control, so you could enable, disable that feature at your whim, provided you had administrative privileges. Whereas, again, with Datto, once enabled, it has to be disabled from the endpoint.
Yeah, very true. And I do remember when I tried Kaseya out in my early infancy of an MSP, I do remember that the screenshots would constantly update on the application. So it was an ongoing screenshot, screen grab, whatever term you want to use. So yeah, unless that's been changed in the past 10 years, that's probably still the same. But, being used in a supply chain ransomware attack.
That's Kaseya. Kaseya can wear that veil of shame all day, every day, for all I care. SolarWinds had their incident, but that was an elegant nation state attack that no one could defend against. Okay, so that's fine. We can go back to Kaseya because they got popped by the Revel Group 3 times over in 4 years. Was it 3 years?
3 or 4, yeah. Something.
I think every name change they got popped. So when they come back as something else, we can expect Kaseya to maybe get popped again.
I think the new name is Groundhog Day, just to be whatever.
Okay. Well, for Kaseya, it would be Groundhog Day. And Ninja RMM, as far as I could tell, or as far as I researched, they have not had a major security incident that could be classified in any way, shape, or form as a supply chain breach.
Yeah, I mean, Ninja RMM hasn't had really any CVEs that have been pushed out either. So that's what I was saying, in the intro. I don't understand why some of these companies are getting named the way that they are. So, and we'll get to your point about some of the internal stuff here in just a moment, but, causing errors when your staff attempts to access Allstate applications for the computers that have their software installed. So the thing that when we had ConnectWise, that had problems all over the place with third-party applications, line of business apps, things.
You even had to whitelist it in your AV. So let's go ahead and whitelist command and control in your anti-malware engine, because that's the dumbest fucking thing ever.
The only application that I know of that Datto RMM interferes with is the Mitel receptionist console, where they have the little management where they switchboard screen and all that, and they can route their calls and stuff like that. For some reason, Datto RMM conflicts with that freaking thing. I don't know, but it hasn't been a big.
Well, I can tell you that Allstate has an integration with the NetSapiens platform, and it's an open integration between them and, like, say, SkySwitch, which is a popular white label VoIP reseller in the MSP space. So are they going to go after that as well?
Time will tell.
Okay. And so that's it for the 3 bullet points here. But I think this third bullet point is the most telling, because it is going on selling on based on FUD and saying, hey, it interferes with our application. So why don't you come and get our professional services team to look at your stuff and give you a better option? I mean, they didn't say that explicitly, but I think that's where this is going. I think this is a targeted attack at the MSP vertical and selling off of the fear that Kaseya has brought to us most recently. Back in July, when their, what I would call negligence in not informing their on-prem partners to restrict access or shut down on-prem servers led to the Revel hack. Not incident, it was a hack.
Mm-hmm. But the simple fact that they're listing these RMM vendors and not just calling out IT MSPs in general. Why are they not doing that? Because that's what really makes me think that, one, their internal is probably using Altera or some other jackwagon program, so they can't list it here because pot and kettle calling each other black type crap. But
yeah, but we live in a do as we say, not as we do world.
Oh, that's not just in Congress? Sorry.
No, that's everywhere, man.
Definitely consider using our agency vendor consulting process. What the fuck is that crap? I mean,
that's internal IT. That is using soft money. They want the franchisee to use their services, and they will get a redemption, whether it's on premiums, advertising and marketing, something or the other. That is Allstate, I think, looking to grow top line revenue. When you really get down to this, the only thing in here that I really agree with is where Allstate is saying that Allstate franchisee staff is using these command and control systems to gain remote access to their computers when they are working from home. I am a firm believer that should be a separate system that does not tie to any real command and control ability.
Mm-hmm.
Because that is just a can of worms, or that's Pandora's box that no one needs to open.
Exactly. So this is actually, to pivot on this thing a little bit, and we'll talk about some personal stuff here a little bit that's affecting us, right? So this is actually opening up a can of worms, right? So we have partners that I will not name publicly that we get a lot of referrals from. And they are already contacting me. It's like, you use Datto RMM, right? I'm like, yeah. What the hell's going on here?
I know the answer to that. Hold on. I don't know.
Exactly. I don't know. But I am looking into it. And they are starting to push back. It's like, you have till the end of the day, Friday, to figure this out. And we are pulling referrals from any. So they are giving me, at least as of right now, I'm trying to get, more communication going on, but this is going to affect partners where you have to remove your RMM by a certain date or lose your agreement. And that's kind of where some of my stuff is. Like, any active agreement, or the verbiage is being told to me, any active agreement or any active engagement that we are on for an incident response must have Datto RMM removed by the end of the day, Friday, or you will be pulled from that incident response and you will no longer get new cases as referrals until you are no longer with that platform.
I don't blame them for saying that. Quite honestly, I don't like it, but you have a multinational company in Allstate, because God alone knows who actually owns these people. Sending out faxes, and information behind a authorization page saying that you can't use these RMM platforms anymore. And these are very loose reasons why. Datto RMM is one of the few RMMs out there that hasn't had any security incidents. I would consider Datto to have a security team that is leaps and bounds above most of their peers in the managed services vertical. Hell, I think Ryan actually has an IRP for various situations. I can't say the same for ConnectWise.
Oh, absolutely, yeah.
And I just say that because I had experience with ConnectWise. But this is starting to affect business for everyone, and I think this is just another way for insurance companies to exfiltrate themselves from the managed services industry and get away from a group of people who the majority of which have no business touching a computer, much less maintaining a computer.
Yeah.
And I blame MSP vendors for this, because they don't care who they sell to as long as they have revenue coming in.
Gotcha. Yeah, it's going to be interesting to see how all this thing shakes out. And unfortunately, Datto is starting to see, even in the Reddit post, that, potential incoming partners were going to come over to Datto from whatever platform they're on. They're seeing this and now pumping their brakes. So, this is going to be a potential. I mean, I'm not sure, again, I'm not a lawyer, but I don't see any defamation cases on this one, or anything slanderous, but I mean, I can imagine this has got to be some sort of legal action that Datto and Ninja could potentially take against them.
I wouldn't say it's a defamation case. I would hope for Allstate's side of this argument that they have real reasons to send out that email naming Datto, naming Kaseya. Well, Kaseya is pretty much public dumpster fire, so fuck them. But naming Ninja and naming Datto is something that they really need to have data behind, because the loss of revenue is a big deal. And unfortunately, this doesn't just touch Datto. This trickles down to us, our clients, or our clients that service other people using tools we provide. And it's highly irresponsible, I think.
Yeah, I mean, even though we're recording this, on Thursday, but even Datto's stock prices are going through the floor. Right?
No, it rebounded. It's back up.
Oh, is it?
Yeah, I mean, this is just a blip. I think the world, the economy, everyone's immune to ransomware at this point. I just think that it's going to happen, and you're really going to be judged on how well you react.
Mm-hmm.
And that's one of the reasons I stayed with a specific Datto platform, is because I believe in their CISO and his ability to recover more so than another platform.
Yeah.
So, but one thing I find really interesting about this notice was sent out on September 22nd with a hard stop date of September 27th, 5 days, which includes Saturday and Sunday. That seems like a very knee-jerk reaction to something.
I don't know. Definitely speculative. A lot of speculation in there, but I don't know. What are you thinking?
I think someone has a hard-on for these three vendors because they're dealing with another vendor who's giving them a sweetheart price to commit to using that platform very quickly.
So it goes back to what my original thought was, some sort of inside deal.
I think so. I mean, everything points to that. I can't imagine Datto and Ninja are going to stay quiet on this. Datto is a publicly traded company. The shareholders here are at risk, something like this. So now the SEC would probably have to give a shit.
Mm-hmm.
But who knows? It's interesting because there's no indication that Allstate has ever engaged with Datto in any way, shape, or form to have Datto end up on this list, or Ninja for that matter. So,
yeah, and let's just be clear. Let's just say Ryan Weeks from Datto and whoever the CISO is over at Ninja gets Allstate to retract from their standing on their two RMMs. For a vendor, their quote unquote partner of these platforms, this damage is going to be long coming. So even if they retract it, they're going to remember this and it's going to be searchable and people are going to be able to see this and it's going to cause problems for, anybody that's in our industry, MSP, MSSP, IR, whatever. Because no matter what, we're in I'm not going to use pandemic, but we are definitely in a mobile workforce.
We're in a work from anywhere world.
Mm-hmm.
And people aren't going back to the offices in mass. I go by office parks all the time, and you can count the number of cars on two hands when there used to be hundreds or even thousands of cars in those parking lots. So something like an RMM, a command and control system, is needed for maintenance.
Yep.
Now, our buddies over at Pax8 love selling the Microsoft Endpoint Manager as a replacement to RMM.
And that's fine with Microsoft partners, but I have a number of clients that are not under the whole Microsoft ecosystem. They are under G Suite ecosystem. So while they may work for some partners and some technologists, it doesn't work for everybody. That's why these RMM vendors exist.
Yeah, but I keep going back to security with Datto because they do have a better stance than most of the other vendors I've been around. The vast majority of vendors, not just RMM vendors in the MSP space, have horrible DevSecOps or none whatsoever.
Mm-hmm.
And they love to jump to the phrase NDA every time you ask them about it.
Yeah.
If you have security, I'm not telling you to give me your playbooks. Make me feel comfortable.
Yeah. Yeah. When we went over to Datto, they didn't disclose by any means what issues they've had or whatever, but, we were just asking the high level questions, how does this process work? What is your responses? And, do you do your due diligence CCs and, just that whole framework of what they do. So we felt more comfortable knowing that they had a policy, they have procedures, they are actually working them, not just saying it, like, say you're self-acetated of a NIST framework. There's difference in seeing somebody talk about it and seeing somebody who actually knows and lives it every day, right? So,
you know what? I'm going to put it out there. If you are an Allstate franchisee or owner of a local Allstate office, and you are able to and allowed to send us a copy of this email, please send it to info@amplifiedandintensified.com. Only if you are allowed to. I do not want nor encourage you to send me anything if you are not allowed to.
oh, but come on. I really would love to see some of these Q&As and everything that they've got behind this wall garden. Hopefully somebody will give it to us, or we're able to get it from a third-party source, because
it'll end up on Reddit at some point, man. I just hated the fact that I woke up at 5:30 this morning to an email from a prospect sending me this saying, "Hey, dude, what the F?"
Yep. Yeah, so we actually have to, like in our situation, we're having to slow down some of our incident response cases to pivot to maybe a different solution. So yeah, it's just affecting things, man.
Which you shouldn't have to, right? Because this is, I don't want to say it's unfounded, but this is a situation where you have a decree from an insurance company that affects thousands upon thousands of businesses. And there's no solid reasoning why. If you told me you can't use ConnectWise, you can't use Kaseya, you can't use SolarWinds because their products all map to CVEs that have been exploited widely, I'd say, okay, that makes perfect sense. But where's Datto on that CVE list? I don't believe they are there in terms of something that's been exploited in mass.
Neither is Ninja.
Yeah.
Neither, I mean, we haven't brought it up, but Synchro MSP hasn't been on here.
Atera? Other than Conti TTPs.
Yeah.
That's a push.
That is.
Yeah,
because Altera is able to be deployed by PowerShell and can fully configure with remote code. So anything like that is, that's a dumpster fire. Oh, yeah. So anyway. Oh, good. This is going to be a long couple of days, man. I'm not looking forward to this at all.
TGI Thursday and tomorrow's Friday?
Yeah, maybe we should start drinking now.
If that could be arranged.
All right. Well, ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much for tuning in to yet another Piss and Vinegar show of Amplified and Intensified. If you enjoyed this content, please share it with somebody. Please give us a rating on iTunes. Let us know how we're doing. If you're watching the video, please comment, like, and subscribe there as well. And until next time, thank you so much.